the open debate. I call first Emma Roddick to be followed by Jamie Halker-Johnson in around 4 minutes. Ms Roddick.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. And I also want to thank Rhoda Grant for bringing this important debate. I was glad to support her motion. And secondly, to thank the Scottish Human Rights Commission for undertaking the work. While I strongly believe that organisations that are seeking to represent the views of all of Scotland must come to the Highlands and Islands, that is not usually what happens. So it was really welcome to see such thorough and interested engagement taking place right across the region ahead of this. And it's right that the resulting report gets aired in this place and that we get a chance to hear the government's response to the many issues that it raises. Because these are issues that the people who are contributing to this debate today regularly raise in the Parliament. And I recognise much of what is described in the report and could have written maybe 12 speeches on it today, because I know how valuable the evidence is in here on access and transport to healthcare, availability of food and general quality of life. I am going to focus largely on what I think is the most severe human rights issue that it explores, because while issues like homelessness exist across Scotland, it exists differently in different communities. In Skye, you're more likely to see young people being homeless at home, whereas in Inverness, people might be stuck for long periods in unsuitable accommodation. And knowing that there's no social housing available anywhere near them, people may not register as homeless in rural and island communities because they believe that there's no point. And all of this hidden homelessness deserves full attention. And I think it's important to note that the SHRC's accurate descriptions of this, from sofa surfing to living in temporary caravans, demonstrates to everyone that while it may be hidden, it isn't invisible, and it is possible for us to see it and react to it. I have always tried, when speaking about homelessness, to promote a reduction in stigma and been really careful about how I speak about it, because the stigma is real, it's unfair and it's pervasive. But having been in that situation in the Highlands, I know the dangers that do come alongside it. Because it's not just about the security of going to sleep with a roof over your head, walls around you and a lock on the door. Housing insecurity opens you up to a very dangerous underground culture. And that's not because people who are homeless are naturally likely to break laws or drink too much. It's because you're vulnerable, even if you don't feel like you are. And bad actors see that opportunity to take advantage, sell drugs, assault and rape. When I was homeless, I was frequently offered drugs and money. I did not take up these offers, or more accurately, traps. But I did often spend my cash-in-hand pay from temporary work on bottles of alcohol in an effort to kind of fast forward to my next shift, because I didn't want to deal with or look at my own life. And I completely understood why others around me opted for different substances to skip through their own living nightmares, why young people end up stuck in a vicious cycle of being the middleman between out-of-area dealers and their next victims. So the fact that the report also highlights rights holders raising an inability to access support services like addiction services tells me that people are living that nightmare right now. Professionals in Orkney noted to the SHRC that the lack of availability of both cannabis and support services has seen an increase in the use of harder drugs. And services like addictions counselling in Inverness, which is a charity that I have immense respect for, do so much for the people who need it most. ACI is run by people who totally get the reality that their service users are living. And it needs all the support that we can give, and there should be services like it available to everyone, no matter where they live. Scotland is growing up in its approach to addiction, but there's still something missing for those who need help today in the Highlands and Islands. Housing is a huge part of that picture. You cannot expect people to live stable and responsible lives when they've been left out in the cold. And we must put at least as much energy into supporting them, giving them what they individually need to be safe, as those who prey on the vulnerable put into recruiting them. Thank you.